Dr. Harold Whitmore's optical physics research at the National Bureau of Standards had been calibrating spectroscopic equipment when he discovered what appeared to be a systematic violation of fundamental electromagnetic principles. On August 9, 1957, at precisely 3:47 a.m. Eastern Time, every source of red wavelength light, from 620 to 750 nanometers, simultaneously ceased to exist across the entire visible spectrum worldwide. "This is physically impossible," Whitmore muttered as he frantically recalibrated his instruments for the 20th time. Stop signs appeared gray. Fire trucks looked black. Blood samples in medical laboratories turned dark brown. Roses in gardens showed no color. Traffic lights displayed only yellow and green. The entire red portion of the electromagnetic spectrum had simply vanished, as if someone had reached into physics itself and deleted a specific range of wavelengths. The optical impossibility extended beyond human perception. Photographic film couldn't capture red wavelengths. Spectrometers detected nothing in the red frequency range. Even thermal imaging systems that operated in infrared ranges adjacent to visible red showed complete electromagnetic void, where red wavelengths should exist. The color hadn't just become invisible to human eyes, it had ceased to exist as a physical phenomenon. "Dr. Whitmore, you need to see these reports immediately," called his research assistant, Dr. Margaret Foster, from across the laboratory. "I've received confirmation from observatories worldwide. The red wavelength elimination is universal. Astronomical observations show no red spectrum from stars, no hydrogen alpha emissions, no redshifted galaxies. The entire universe has lost its red component." Initial investigation revealed that the wavelength elimination affected every possible source of red light: incandescent bulbs, LED displays, laser equipment, neon signs, natural sunlight reflection, and even bioluminescent organisms. Any physical process that normally produced electromagnetic radiation between 620 to 750 nanometers now produced nothing in that frequency range. "We're documenting complete elimination of specific electromagnetic wavelengths from physical reality," Whitmore noted during his emergency August 9 briefing to Bureau leadership. "Red light hasn't just disappeared from human perception. It has been selectively removed from the electromagnetic spectrum itself through unknown mechanisms that exceed our understanding of physics and light propagation." The first controlled observation occurred at 6:15 a.m. when Whitmore's team attempted to generate red wavelengths using every available method: heating metals to incandescence, exciting neon gas, using ruby lasers, and employing LED semiconductors specifically designed for red emission. Every method that should have produced red light produced only darkness in that wavelength range, with spectroscopic analysis confirming absolute absence of 620 to 750 nanometers electromagnetic radiation. All methods that should produce red wavelengths produce zero electromagnetic radiation in that frequency range, reported Dr. Elizabeth Chen, the team's electromagnetic specialist. "The red portion of the spectrum has been selectively eliminated from physical reality through mechanisms that appear to modify fundamental electromagnetic field properties." The discovery triggered immediate classified research protocols. The Department of Defense established a joint task force with the National Science Foundation to investigate the security and scientific implications of wavelength elimination technology that could selectively remove portions of the electromagnetic spectrum from existence. Dr. Robert Morrison, a quantum physicist from Princeton, joined the investigation at 9:30 a.m. to explore theoretical mechanisms that could enable selective electromagnetic deletion. "We're dealing with technology that can modify quantum electrodynamic field properties to prevent specific wavelength generation," he explained during the initial physics briefing. The red elimination appeared to demonstrate perfect selectivity, affecting only visible red wavelengths while leaving adjacent orange and infrared frequencies completely normal. The boundary at 620 nanometers showed mathematical precision, suggesting engineered rather than natural electromagnetic modification. Red elimination demonstrates perfect wavelength selectivity with precise 620 nanometer boundary, Whitmore reported during the August 9 afternoon briefing. The selective elimination suggests advanced electromagnetic engineering that can target specific wavelength ranges while leaving adjacent frequencies unaffected. Public reaction evolved throughout the day as people noticed the missing color. Initial confusion gave way to widespread concern as the implications became apparent. Blood looked wrong. Fire lost its characteristic appearance. Sunset skies showed only yellows and purples, and cardinal birds appeared brown. The psychological impact of a missing primary color affected human perception and emotional response in profound ways. Field investigation expanded rapidly throughout August 9, with research teams documenting red wavelength absence in all contexts worldwide. The phenomenon operated universally, affecting every location on Earth and observable astronomical sources with no exceptions or variations. The most significant breakthrough occurred at 7:30 p.m., when Dr. Morrison's team detected residual quantum field perturbations in the red wavelength range. These electromagnetic traces suggested that red wavelengths were being actively prevented from manifesting rather than passively absent, indicating ongoing technological intervention. "We're detecting active wavelength suppression rather than passive absence," Morrison explained during the evening physics briefing. "Something is continuously preventing red wavelength generation through quantum field manipulation that operates universally and instantaneously." The discovery raised immediate questions about the source and purpose of wavelength elimination. The phenomenon appeared too precise and technologically sophisticated to be natural electromagnetic anomaly, suggesting artificial intervention for purposes that remained completely unclear. Testing throughout August 10 confirmed that the red elimination remained stable and complete, with no degradation or fluctuation in the wavelength suppression effect. The technology demonstrated perfect reliability while maintaining universal scope across all electromagnetic generation processes. Red elimination maintains perfect stability and universal scope without fluctuation, Foster reported during wavelength stability analysis. This suppression technology operates with perfect reliability across all electromagnetic processes and geographical locations. The investigation also discovered that some individuals experience significant psychological distress from the color absence, reporting feelings of wrongness, incompleteness, and visual discomfort that suggested deep neurological connection between color perception and human psychological well-being. Some individuals experience psychological distress from color absence, suggesting deep neurological connection between color and psychological well-being, Chen noted during psychological impact assessment. Red wavelength elimination affects human emotional and perceptual experience in profound ways beyond simple visual observation. Then, as mysteriously as it had vanished, red wavelengths suddenly reappeared at exactly 3:47 a.m. on August 12, 1957, precisely 72 hours after their disappearance. Within seconds, stop signs glowed red again, blood regained its characteristic color, roses bloomed crimson, and the universe returned to its full electromagnetic spectrum. Spectroscopic analysis confirmed complete restoration of 620 to 750 nanometers radiation across all sources and locations. Red wavelengths have returned completely and instantaneously across all sources and locations, Whitmore announced during the August 12 restoration briefing. The wavelength suppression ended as abruptly and universally as it began, suggesting controlled experimental duration rather than random technological failure. By August 12, the initial investigation had established that the 3-day red elimination represented systematic and controlled electromagnetic engineering that could selectively remove and restore specific wavelengths from physical reality across the entire universe. "We're documenting controlled electromagnetic engineering that can selectively eliminate and restore specific wavelengths from reality," Whitmore concluded in his August 12, 1957 final discovery report. The 3-day red elimination demonstrated technological capability exceeding human understanding by centuries while suggesting experimental or demonstrative purposes. The question is, who has the capability to modify fundamental electromagnetic properties across the universe, and why they chose to remove red wavelengths for exactly 3 days? The initial phase established that wavelength elimination was real, controlled, and represented technology that could modify fundamental physics across cosmic scales, challenging conventional understanding of electromagnetic fields, and suggesting intelligence with extraordinary technological capabilities. The systematic monitoring for additional wavelength elimination events required unprecedented coordination between optical physicists, electromagnetic specialists, and astronomical observatories to detect and analyze any future color disappearances. Dr. Harold Whitmore established the Spectrum Anomaly Monitoring Division within a classified facility in New Mexico, where teams maintained continuous surveillance of the entire electromagnetic spectrum for any wavelength suppression events. We're establishing continuous electromagnetic spectrum monitoring to detect any future wavelength elimination events, Whitmore explained during the August 1957 monitoring system launch briefing. If the red elimination represented first experiment in series, we need comprehensive detection capability to identify and analyze subsequent wavelength manipulations. The first wavelength suppression event after red occurred on November 3, 1957, when all blue wavelengths, 450 to 495 nanometers, disappeared for exactly 6 hours. The elimination showed the same characteristics as the red event: perfect wavelength selectivity, universal scope, complete electromagnetic absence, and precise boundary definition at the blue frequency edges. Blue wavelength elimination occurred for 6 hours, showing identical characteristics to red elimination event, reported Dr. Margaret Foster, who led the anomaly detection team. The shorter duration and different wavelength range suggest systematic experimentation with various electromagnetic suppression parameters and wavelength targets. Continuous monitoring revealed a pattern. Wavelength elimination events occurred approximately every 2 to 3 months, each targeting different portions of the visible spectrum with varying durations from 2 hours to 5 days. The eliminations always showed perfect wavelength selectivity and universal scope while demonstrating increasing sophistication in duration control and wavelength targeting. Wavelength eliminations occur every 2 to 3 months, targeting different spectrum portions with varying durations, noted Dr. Elizabeth Chen during pattern analysis briefings. The events demonstrate systematic experimentation with electromagnetic suppression across visible spectrum wavelengths. The most significant breakthrough occurred in April 1958, when monitoring teams detected that wavelength eliminations appeared to target specific colors based on their psychological and cultural significance to human perception. Red, blue, yellow, and green, the primary and secondary colors most significant to human vision, experienced longer elimination periods than intermediate wavelengths. Wavelength eliminations target psychologically significant colors with longer elimination periods, Chen explained during significance correlation analysis. The targeting suggests intelligence interested in human perceptual and psychological response to selective color absence. Advanced psychological studies revealed that each color elimination produced distinct emotional and cognitive effects. Red absence created anxiety and caution loss. Blue elimination produced sadness and depth perception problems. Yellow disappearance caused energy and optimism reduction, and green absence created nature disconnection and visual fatigue. Each color elimination produces distinct psychological and cognitive effects specific to that color's perceptual significance, Whitmore reported during psychological impact assessment. The effects suggest experimental investigation of color consciousness relationships and wavelength emotion connections. The investigation revealed that wavelength elimination events created scientific learning opportunities, enabling researchers to study color perception, electromagnetic physics, and consciousness wavelength relationships under impossible experimental conditions that normal science could never achieve. Wavelength eliminations create unique scientific learning opportunities for studying color perception and electromagnetic physics, Foster noted during scientific opportunity analysis. The events enable research that normal experimental methods cannot accomplish. By 1960, spectrum experiments monitoring had documented 23 separate wavelength elimination events affecting various portions of visible spectrum, with durations ranging from 2 hours to 5 days, each providing unique data about electromagnetic manipulation and human color perception. Astronomical impact studies revealed that wavelength eliminations affected stellar observations and astrophysical research in profound ways, eliminating spectral lines used for chemical composition analysis and distance measurements, temporarily disrupting cosmic observation capabilities. Wavelength eliminations disrupt astronomical research by eliminating spectral lines used for cosmic analysis and measurements, Morrison reported during Astronomical Impact Assessment. The events demonstrate universal scope affecting light from distant galaxies and showing that wavelength suppression extends across cosmic distances. The most remarkable discovery was that wavelength elimination technology appeared to be teaching human physics understanding by demonstrating electromagnetic manipulation capabilities that revealed new principles about light, consciousness, and the relationship between wavelength and human perception. Wavelength elimination technology teaches physics understanding through demonstrations revealing electromagnetic manipulation principles, Chen noted during educational analysis. The experiments appear designed to expand human scientific knowledge about light and consciousness relationships. Communication attempt analysis revealed subtle patterns in elimination timing and wavelength selection that suggested possible information encoding, leading research teams to analyze event sequences for meaningful patterns or messages. Elimination timing and wavelength selection show patterns suggesting possible information encoding, Foster reported during communication analysis. Event sequences may contain encoded messages or instructions about electromagnetic manipulation technology. Public adaptation studies showed that populations developed rapid psychological adjustment to temporary color absences, with each successive elimination producing less disruption and anxiety as people learned to navigate colorless periods and understand the temporary nature of spectrum modifications. Populations develop rapid adaptation to color absences with successive eliminations producing less disruption, Whitmore noted during adaptation analysis. Public adjustment suggests successful psychological conditioning to accept temporary spectrum modifications as non-threatening phenomena. By 1963, the spectrum experiments had demonstrated systematic electromagnetic manipulation following a parent experimental protocol with varying parameters, suggesting controlled research program rather than random technological demonstrations. Industrial adaptation programs emerged as businesses developed colorblind-compatible signage and products that maintained functionality during any wavelength elimination event, creating economic resilience to spectrum modifications. Industrial adaptation creates colorblind-compatible systems maintaining functionality during wavelength eliminations, Morrison reported during Economic Adaptation Assessment. Business resilience to spectrum modifications demonstrates successful technological and social adjustment to electromagnetic manipulation events. The investigation revealed that wavelength eliminations showed increasing coordination with human scientific research, occurring during optimal times for observational study and avoiding critical periods when color absence would threaten public safety or essential operations. Wavelength eliminations show coordination with human research occurring during optimal study times and avoiding critical safety periods, Chen noted during coordination analysis. The timing consideration demonstrates intelligence aware of human needs and scientific research requirements. By March 22, 1965, the Spectrum Experiments Monitoring Division had documented comprehensive pattern of systematic wavelength eliminations, demonstrating controlled electromagnetic manipulation, serving apparent experimental and educational purposes, while maintaining consideration for human welfare and scientific learning. Comprehensive wavelength elimination pattern demonstrates controlled electromagnetic experiments, serving experimental and educational purposes, Whitmore concluded in his final spectrum experiments report. Systematic wavelength manipulations suggest intelligence conducting research on electromagnetic control and human color perception, while enabling human scientific advancement and demonstrating consideration for human welfare through careful timing and safety consideration. Consciousness and wavelengths have profound relationships that species rarely discover independently, Chen explained during consciousness-light relationship briefings. Lightbender research helps species understand these connections and develop electromagnetic manipulation for consciousness enhancement. The Lightbenders revealed that their experiments were a comprehensive research program designed to provide wavelength manipulation knowledge during critical periods when species could benefit from understanding light-consciousness relationships for technological and consciousness development. Lightbender experiments are a research program providing wavelength manipulation knowledge during critical development periods, Whitmore noted during research program briefings. Experiments serve species consciousness development while investigating universal principles of light-consciousness relationships. Direct collaboration began in 1968, with lightbenders providing limited technology and guidance to help human researchers understand electromagnetic manipulation principles, while maintaining human autonomy in developing consciousness light applications and perception enhancement technologies. The lightbenders provide technological assistance while ensuring human autonomy in consciousness light application development, Foster reported during collaboration assessment. They assist but do not control human electromagnetic technology development or consciousness enhancement processes. The benders explained that wavelength manipulation included embedded consciousness development programming that enabled humans to understand light perception relationships and develop electromagnetic technologies for vision enhancement, consciousness expansion, and perception modification. Wavelength manipulation includes consciousness development programming enabling understanding of light perception relationships, Morrison explained during consciousness development analysis. Experiments teach electromagnetic manipulation principles that serve vision enhancement and perception expansion technologies. Advanced collaboration revealed that the lightbenders operated under strict observation principles that prohibited interference while enabling research assistance that enhanced, rather than replaced, natural species' understanding of electromagnetic physics and consciousness-light relationships. Lightbender observation principles ensure research enhances rather than replaces natural species understanding, Chen noted during research policy analysis. Wavelength experiments preserve species autonomy while enabling electromagnetic physics understanding and consciousness-light relationship discovery. By 1970, the collaboration had established regular consultation protocols that enabled human researchers to receive guidance about electromagnetic manipulation while maintaining complete human control over consciousness-light technology development and perception enhancement applications. The most remarkable discovery was that the lightbenders had studied hundreds of species throughout the galaxy through wavelength manipulation experiments, with each species developing unique understanding of light consciousness relationships that contributed to universal knowledge of electromagnetic consciousness coupling. Lightbenders have studied hundreds of species developing unique understanding of light consciousness relationships, Foster reported during bender research analysis. Each species contributes distinctive knowledge about electromagnetic consciousness coupling to universal understanding. The benders revealed that wavelength manipulation technology included preparation for eventual consciousness enhancement capabilities that would enable humans to perceive beyond visible spectrum and develop electromagnetic technologies for expanded perception and consciousness development. Wavelength manipulation prepares humans for consciousness enhancement enabling beyond visible perception, Morrison noted during enhancement preparation analyses. Experiments demonstrate electromagnetic principles that enable expanded perception and consciousness development technologies. The investigation into the controlling intelligence behind wavelength elimination required the most sophisticated electromagnetic communication and detection capabilities ever assembled to identify and potentially establish contact with entities capable of modifying fundamental physics across the universe. Dr. Harold Whitmore established the Source Contact Division within a new classified facility in Colorado, where teams prepared for potential communication with whoever operated the comprehensive electromagnetic manipulation system. We need to identify who possesses technological capability to eliminate specific electromagnetic wavelengths across the entire universe, Whitmore explained during the March 1965 Source Investigation launch briefing. The electromagnetic manipulation requirements exceed human capability by millennia, indicating non-human intelligence with extraordinary mastery of fundamental physics and light propagation. The first phase involved comprehensive analysis of wavelength elimination quantum signatures to identify technological characteristics that might reveal their source. Dr. Robert Morrison's physics team analyzed electromagnetic suppression patterns and quantum field modifications, looking for technological indicators that could identify the civilization responsible for spectrum engineering. Electromagnetic suppression analysis reveals technological approaches exceeding current human physics capability by millennia, Morrison reported during technological source analysis briefings. The wavelength manipulation technology demonstrates mastery of quantum electrodynamics and electromagnetic field control that human science has not conceived. Direct communication attempts began in June 1965, with research teams broadcasting mathematical sequences and electromagnetic information during wavelength elimination events, hoping to establish contact with the spectrum manipulation controllers. We're broadcasting mathematical and electromagnetic communications during wavelength eliminations, explained Dr. Margaret Foster, who coordinated communication attempts. If they're monitoring human response to spectrum modifications, they should detect our communication attempts and potentially respond through electromagnetic channels. The first response arrived during a green wavelength elimination on September 15, 1965, when the suppression field briefly modulated to encode simple mathematical sequences in Morse code patterns of green presence and absence. The modulation confirmed intelligent source and demonstrated willingness to communicate. Green wavelength modulation encodes mathematical sequences confirming intelligent source and communication willingness, Foster announced during the breakthrough communication briefing. The modulation demonstrates that spectrum manipulators are monitoring human response and willing to establish communication through electromagnetic pattern encoding. Progressive communication throughout 1966 established complex information exchange through wavelength presence/absence patterns, eventually leading to direct quantum field communication that identified the sources as the, quote, light benders, an advanced civilization that studied consciousness wavelength relationships across the galaxy. We have established contact with the light benders through electromagnetic pattern communication, Whitmore announced during formal contact briefing. They are an advanced civilization studying consciousness-light relationships through wavelength manipulation experiments that investigate how different species perceive and respond to electromagnetic spectrum modifications. The Lightbenders explained that they operated throughout the galaxy, conducting electromagnetic research with developing species that demonstrated potential for understanding light consciousness connections. Wavelength eliminations represented controlled experiments, investigating human visual perception, color-emotion relationships, and consciousness wavelength coupling. The Lightbenders conduct electromagnetic research investigating consciousness-light relationships through wavelength manipulation experiments, Morrison reported during Bender explanation briefings. Eliminations serve as controlled studies of human perception and color consciousness connections, while demonstrating electromagnetic manipulation principles. The most significant revelation was that consciousness and electromagnetic wavelengths had profound relationships that most species never discovered without outside intervention. The Lightbenders. Research helps species understand these connections and eventually develop their own electromagnetic manipulation capabilities for consciousness enhancement and perception expansion. By November 17, 1972, the Source Contact investigation had established ongoing collaboration with the Lightbenders while preserving human autonomy in electromagnetic technology development and maintaining independent research on consciousness-light relationships throughout the assistance relationship. We've established collaborative partnership with advanced civilizations studying consciousness-light relationships while respecting our research autonomy, Whitmore concluded in his final Lightbenders report. The Lightbenders enhance our electromagnetic understanding while ensuring that humanity maintains complete control over consciousness-light technology development and perception enhancement applications. The development of human-operated electromagnetic perception enhancement required comprehensive programs that enabled expanded visual capabilities while maintaining perceptual integrity and psychological well-being throughout perception modification. Dr. Harold Whitmore established the Perception Technology Division within an advanced facility in Massachusetts, where teams developed human electromagnetic perception systems that served consciousness enhancement while preserving psychological health and perceptual authenticity. We're developing human electromagnetic perception systems, enabling expanded visual capabilities while maintaining perceptual integrity and psychological well-being, Whitmore explained during the November 1972 Perception Technology launch briefing. Human perception enhancement must serve consciousness expansion while preserving psychological health and perceptual authenticity throughout vision modification. The first human perception enhancement systems implemented in March 1973 enabled controlled expansion of visible spectrum range, allowing humans to perceive ultraviolet and infrared wavelengths alongside normal visible light through electromagnetic consciousness coupling technology that maintains psychological stability and visual processing integrity. Human perception enhancement enables visible spectrum expansion through electromagnetic consciousness coupling, maintaining psychological stability, reported Dr. Robert Morrison, who led perception technology development. Enhancement systems serve consciousness expansion while preserving psychological health and visual processing integrity throughout perception modification. Advanced perception applications throughout 1974 utilized electromagnetic enhancement for medical diagnostics, scientific research, artistic expression, and consciousness development that achieved remarkable outcomes through expanded visual capabilities and enhanced electromagnetic sensitivity. Advanced perception applications utilize electromagnetic enhancement for medical, scientific, artistic, and consciousness applications, achieving remarkable outcomes, explained Dr. Elizabeth Chen during application assessment. Perception expansion enables capabilities beyond normal human vision while maintaining psychological well-being and perceptual authenticity. The most significant breakthrough occurred in August 1975, when perception enhancement programs achieved comprehensive electromagnetic awareness, enabling humans to consciously perceive and interact with light across entire electromagnetic spectrum, from radio waves to gamma rays, vastly expanding human sensory capabilities and consciousness understanding. Comprehensive electromagnetic awareness enables perception across entire spectrum, vastly expanding sensory capabilities, Whitmore reported during Awareness Achievement Assessment. Perception enhancement achieves universal electromagnetic sensitivity while maintaining psychological health and cognitive processing integrity. Consciousness development applications established throughout 1975-1976 incorporated perception enhancement into meditation, spiritual practices, and personal development programs that enabled expanded awareness and consciousness evolution through enhanced electromagnetic perception and light consciousness relationship understanding. Consciousness development applications incorporate perception enhancement enabling expanded awareness and consciousness evolution, Foster noted during consciousness development assessment. Electromagnetic perception enhancement serves spiritual and personal development through light consciousness relationship understanding. Artistic applications utilized perception enhancement for creating multi-spectrum art and experiences that operated across visible and invisible wavelengths, producing aesthetic expressions that engaged expanded human perception and created unprecedented artistic possibilities. Artistic applications utilize perception enhancement for multi-spectrum art, engaging expanded perception and creating unprecedented possibilities, Morrison reported during artistic application assessment. Electromagnetic art explores perception beyond visible spectrum, enabling new aesthetic expressions and consciousness experiences. The investigation revealed that perception enhancement enabled consciousness expansion while strengthening, rather than threatening, perceptual identity through experiences that expanded rather than replaced normal vision and perceptual authenticity. Perception enhancement enables consciousness expansion while strengthening perceptual identity through experiences expanding normal vision, Chen noted during identity impact analysis. Enhancement strengthens rather than threatens perceptual authenticity through vision expansion that enriches consciousness experience. By 1978, perception revolution programs had successfully demonstrated that human electromagnetic perception enhancement could serve comprehensive consciousness development while maintaining psychological health through controlled enhancement that provided profound vision expansion and consciousness evolution. Scientific research applications utilized perception enhancement for studying electromagnetic phenomena, biological processes, and consciousness relationships that remained invisible to normal human vision, enabling research breakthroughs and scientific advancement. Scientific applications utilize perception enhancement for studying invisible phenomena, enabling research breakthroughs, Foster reported during scientific application assessment. Electromagnetic perception enables scientific observation beyond normal human vision capabilities. The most remarkable achievement was demonstrating that perception revolution created positive consciousness cycles, where expanded perception enabled greater awareness, which increased capacity for consciousness development and continued perception enhancement. Perception revolution creates positive consciousness cycles, where expanded perception enables awareness, increasing consciousness development capacity, quote, Morrison noted during consciousness cycle analysis. Perception enhancement amplifies consciousness evolution through successful vision expansion and awareness development. Medical applications incorporated perception enhancement for diagnostic capabilities, enabling disease detection and health monitoring that exceeded conventional medical imaging through direct electromagnetic perception of biological processes and cellular activities. Medical applications incorporate perception enhancement for diagnostic capabilities exceeding conventional imaging through direct electromagnetic perception, Chen reported during medical application assessment. Enhanced perception enables disease detection and health monitoring beyond conventional medical technology capabilities. Environmental applications utilized perception enhancement for ecological monitoring and environmental protection, enabling direct perception of pollution, ecosystem health, and environmental changes that remained invisible to normal vision or required expensive equipment. Environmental applications utilize perception enhancement for ecological monitoring, enabling direct pollution perception and ecosystem health awareness, Whitmore noted during environmental application assessment. Enhanced perception serves environmental protection through direct electromagnetic awareness of ecological conditions. By July 8, 1980, the Perception Revolution Division had established comprehensive human electromagnetic perception enhancement that served consciousness development while maintaining psychological health through controlled enhancement, providing profound vision, expansion, and awareness evolution. Comprehensive electromagnetic perception enhancement serves consciousness development while maintaining psychological health through controlled enhancement, Whitmore concluded in his final Perception Revolution report. Human perception expansion demonstrates that electromagnetic awareness enhancement can serve profound consciousness evolution while preserving psychological well-being and perceptual authenticity through controlled vision enhancement that expands human consciousness and electromagnetic awareness capabilities. 44 years after Perception Revolution implementation and 67 years after the first red wavelength disappearance, electromagnetic perception enhancement had evolved into humanity's foundation for expanded consciousness that served awareness development while preserving perceptual integrity through the most successful vision enhancement program in galactic history. Dr. Harold Whitmore, now serving as Director Emeritus of Global Perception Enhancement, reflected on humanity's transformation during the 2024 Electromagnetic Harmony Ceremony. We began with mysterious color disappearances and discovered electromagnetic manipulation technology, leading to expanded consciousness that preserves perceptual integrity while enabling unprecedented awareness through voluntary perception enhancement, quote, he observed. The Global Electromagnetic Perception System had become humanity's most successful consciousness program, providing voluntary perception enhancement for over 4.1 billion individuals worldwide, while maintaining complete psychological health and perceptual authenticity through comprehensive frameworks honoring individual consciousness, integrity, and perceptual autonomy. Electromagnetic perception enhancement represents humanity's most successful consciousness advancement, while preserving psychological health and perceptual authenticity, explained Dr. Elizabeth Chen, now serving as Global Awareness Director. Perception expansion serves consciousness development, while strengthening rather than threatening perceptual identity and psychological well-being. Advanced perception capabilities had evolved to enable routine electromagnetic awareness across entire spectrum for consciousness enhancement, scientific research, artistic expression, and personal development, while maintaining comprehensive psychological support and perceptual integrity protection. Advanced perception capabilities enable routine electromagnetic awareness across entire spectrum while maintaining psychological support and integrity protection, reported Dr. Robert Morrison, who served as Perceptual Safety Coordinator. Enhancement technology achieves universal consciousness capability while preserving psychological well-being and perceptual identity. The integration had transformed human civilization's relationship with light and consciousness, enabling expanded awareness and perception diversity through electromagnetic enhancement that provided profound consciousness evolution while maintaining perceptual identity and psychological autonomy. Electromagnetic enhancement transforms light and consciousness relationships, enabling expanded awareness while maintaining identity and autonomy, noted Dr. Margaret Foster, who coordinated consciousness development programs. Perception technology enables profound consciousness evolution while preserving perceptual integrity and psychological freedom. The Rainbow Tomorrow represented humanity's successful integration of perception enhancement with consciousness preservation principles that ensured continued awareness development, perceptual diversity, and individual authenticity throughout electromagnetic enhancement that served human consciousness potential while preserving perceptual values. By 2024, the integrated electromagnetic perception civilization had demonstrated that humanity could successfully combine enhancement technology with perceptual preservation to create society that maximized awareness development while maintaining individual consciousness integrity and perceptual authenticity through enhancement frameworks respecting human perception diversity and consciousness variety. The most remarkable achievement was demonstrating that perception enhancement created positive awareness cycles, where expanded electromagnetic perception enabled greater consciousness development, which increased capacity for voluntary enhancement participation and continued awareness evolution, creating infinite possibilities for human consciousness and perceptual experience. The Rainbow Tomorrow established permanent frameworks for continued consciousness development that would serve humanity throughout its evolution, while honoring the perceptual integrity, psychological well-being, and consciousness authenticity that make human awareness valuable and worth preserving throughout infinite spectrum possibilities and electromagnetic perception enhancement. Electromagnetic perception civilization preserves perceptual integrity and psychological well-being while enabling expanded consciousness, Whitmore concluded in his final assessment. The Rainbow Tomorrow demonstrates that perception enhancement can serve infinite human awareness potential while maintaining everything that makes individual consciousness precious throughout humanity's continued evolution toward comprehensive electromagnetic perception that honors perceptual diversity while enabling profound consciousness expansion and awareness development.